I'm a developmental psychologist by training, and I study parent-child interaction primarily in low-income contexts, and I'm especially interested in what kinds of parent-child interactions or parent engagement in children's development helps children reach their full potential. And I'm very interested in differences between children in economically disadvantaged circumstances and their higher income peers. And why is it that parents in those two broad groups seem to interact differently with their kids in a way that may be responsible for differences in outcomes in cognition and emotional adjustment and long-run human capital in the children. The way I think the work in my lab differs from a traditional approach to studying parenting in developmental psychology is that we are thinking of parent-child interaction through the lens of decision-making. So we're thinking about choices that parents make to do any manner of things with their kids, to read to them, to monitor their health, to brush their teeth, to be emotionally affectionate, etc. Instead of thinking of the way parents act as a style or a particular kind of person that developmental psychology usually characterizes parenting as I said, we're thinking of parent-child interaction as quite simply how do parents make decisions on a day-by-day or week-by-week or year-by-year basis to do different things in the service of their kids' development. And what this decision-making lens affords us, we think, is a better opportunity to understand the influences on people's decision-making. Is that information? Is that one of any number of cognitive biases that shape how people make decisions? Is it parents' expected returns on any particular decision they might make? If we think of parent-child interaction in this way, and then understand what are the forces that impinge on parents' decision-making in very particular circumstances, we think that opens up new avenues for interventions. Because once we understand why parents, for example, made a decision that seems not to match the choice they said they wanted to make, which we would call a suboptimal decision, if we understand what environmental factor or informational factor shaped that decision such that it was suboptimal, we can try to manipulate that factor in the environment and help align parents' aspirations with their actual behavior. I think one of the key important ways in which we're pursuing this topic through this lens of decision-making and through this idea that we can manipulate factors in the environment to shape decision-making is that an intervention approach that takes that perspective can be quite inexpensive and highly scalable. There are lots of very simple things we can change in our environment that lead us towards one decision versus another one. And the typical approach in, say, my own field of developmental psychology would be to design a fairly expensive and fairly intensive multi-component intervention that would aim to change a whole set of dimensions of parent behavior at once. We are saying, let's simplify things. Let's figure out what lever we need to pull in the environment to hone in just on these micro decisions in a way, as I said, that can be much cheaper, much simpler, and to which parents appear to be very responsive. Well, one of the things I've really loved, I've been at the University of Chicago for 20 years now, and what I really love about it, I think most, is the opportunity for reinvention as a scientist. When you find a new question or a new set of collaborators or a new inspiration, there are so many interesting questions being asked by the faculty on this campus and so much support for intellectual curiosity that I think being a faculty member here, you walk around feeling like the world is your intellectual oyster.